Vegeta's reckless strike against Pan was not just a mistake. The dream that had baffled everyone has now come true. Goku raised his hand, staring only at Vegeta, silent, imposing, his intent unreadable. Vegeta's heart trembled as he realized the gravity of the predicament, yet he lifted his head, his voice firm despite the tension. If you are still the Kakarot I know, then stop this power of yours. Goku replied, "You dared to touch my family. Now you will know the price of that audacity." Everyone around them froze. A deadly silence filled the place. Suddenly, Goku unleashed an immense wave of energy toward Vegeta at unbelievable speed, striking him without mercy. The energy surged upward, pierced the atmosphere, and exploded in space. The attack shook planet Earth entirely. When the dust settled, the shock was overwhelming. Vegeta was covered in blood, struggling to catch his breath. The friends around them wondered in disbelief. How did Vegeta not evade that attack? He trained for many months under the strongest masters. The second interrupted, focused. "That's not what astonishes me. Didn't you feel it? Why did the energy veer off towards space?" The third, confused and afraid. Is this what we saw in the dream? Or is this really Goku?" The mystery surfaced. Goku's intent was unclear, and Vegeta was still standing, waiting for another move. Goku began to approach slowly and said, "Those who err face my power. This is a lesson, not revenge." Then he attacked again. A devastating blow struck Vegeta's arm so hard that the ground trembled around them. Goku continued. "Rushing to judgment breeds catastrophe." Vegeta, in pain, thought to himself, "I won't escalate things further. I still don't understand what lies behind his anger, but if he must vent it on me, then so be it. What matters is that the worst thing we saw in the dream does not come true." Then Goku delivered a decisive, crushing strike to Vegeta's abdomen, so powerful that every cell of his being trembled. Everyone around them felt the weight of that power. What they witnessed was not merely a fight, but a stark warning of the power and curse of the Dragon Balls. Vegeta fell to his knees, blood pouring heavily from his body. Terror froze on everyone's faces. Suddenly, Bulma stepped forward bravely, standing before the composed Goku. Her heart raced, her voice trembled, but she shouted, "Stop! Don't do this!" Everyone froze. Trunks cried out desperately, "Get back, Mom! We don't know his intention! We don't know if this is really Goku!" Goku remained silent and unmoving, but Vegeta's heart was flooded by memories of the dream, visions of his wife flickering before him, helpless. The fear of that scene repeating overwhelmed him. He shouted, "Get away!" Then he took a deep breath and roared with terrifying force, a power he had been storing for months of training under the harshest conditions, a power no one had ever seen before. The planet shook, his roar rising into space, filling the air with light and heat. Vegeta's new transformation finally emerged. The transformation forged by iron will, the result of many months of training under the strongest royal master. The friends were stunned. Some whispered, This is his true power. We never knew." Vegeta clenched his fists tightly, his voice cutting through the air. "I was trying to calm things down, to understand what was happening. I never wanted to kill you, but if there is a threat to my family, then I will not leave you a chance to live, Kakarot." Goku's gaze was calm, silent. Suddenly, Vegeta moved, launching a powerful knee strike toward Goku's abdomen. The blow rebounded with tremendous force, shaking the ground. The friends exchanged stunned glances. This was a level they had never witnessed from him before. "I will not retreat. If this path ends with the death of one of us, I will bear its consequence to the very end." In the next moment, Goku lunged forward with a lightning-fast punch, but it stopped. One of Vegeta's hands caught the fist in midair. He slowly raised his head and said with icy calm, "From now on, I'm the one who will lead this fight." He countered with a direct strike, then drove his fist toward Goku's forehead, hitting that mysterious mark at its center. Suddenly, a spark of lightning exploded. A violent shock surged through Vegeta's arm, forcing him to step back. Goku did not scream, did not retreat. He only said in a low voice, "Vegeta, if I were truly your enemy, this planet would have ended before you ever raised your hand." Vegeta froze, and before he could respond, Goku vanished. No trace of an attack, no surge of energy. He reappeared suddenly above the atmosphere. The friends were shaken. One of them said in astonishment, "It's impossible to explain what we just saw. Clearly, my dad is afflicted by a curse, and yet his actions aren't entirely evil. His charge at Vegeta feels like blind rage, not an intent to kill." A heavy silence fell. The real question was not about power, but about where the combined anger of the two would lead. Vegeta clenched his fist and whispered, "I don't understand this power. Something strange is moving inside you, but it doesn't matter. I have to end this now." In an instant, Vegeta surged upward at a speed that shattered the air, then slammed into Goku's abdomen. The impact thundered. A violent earthquake swept the planet. The ground shook, and the scene stilled for a second. Goku slowly lifted his head, his voice calm, yet laden with suppressed fury. "If you see me as a threat, Vegeta, remember that I still choose where my blows go." Vegeta was stunned by those words. Then he said with cold resolute, "And I won't wait until my instinct proves it was right." Then the clash erupted. Consecutive collisions in space, unseen blows, speeds beyond perception, sparks of energy, shockwaves devouring the void, as if the universe itself were being crushed between their fists. Below, the friends watched with pale faces, fear, awe, hope, all emotions intertwined. And in a distant place, on a strange planet, a woman suddenly stopped. Feeling the tremor, she said with heavy calm, "So, he finally released that power. What I trained him for is enough to destroy Universe 7. Whis must be informed before the conflict turns into annihilation." On Beerus's planet, the alarm was triggered. Whis realized that what was happening on Earth had gone beyond the point of control. At the same time, Beerus had awakened. His body was rigid, his breathing uneven, like someone torn from a heavy nightmare. Whis said anxiously, "Don't tell me you saw it in the dream as well, Lord Beerus." Beerus did not answer immediately. He gave only a single look, a look that said everything. "Move, now, Whis. If this continues, we will all collapse." In space, the battle paused for a moment, and a heavy silence enveloped the area. Vegeta noticed something strange. The spheres that had exploded from Bulma's house were gathering around Goku, forming a mysterious barrier. But he counted them carefully. 6 spheres only, not 7. That difference stunned him, sending his thoughts racing. This must be his weakness. Vegeta clenched his fist, waves of energy expanding around him, pressing against the horizon, igniting the air and making the stars shimmer from the sheer force of his charge. On Earth, one of the friends said in shock, "Impossible! This will destroy our planet!" Maybe he's decided to end the conflict with a single blow, but Dad looks steady. What is he planning? At that moment, Vegeta suddenly vanished and reappeared behind Goku. His attack was focused and unexpected. A violent wave of energy struck directly from behind. The explosion shook space itself, and the remaining 6 spheres collided with the blast and shattered. Pulsating light swept across Earth, and the shock reached everyone watching. Goku did not move. His back was severely damaged, and the spheres that had been behind him vanished suddenly, as if they had never existed at all. Then, something strange happened. Vegeta's body began to change. His skin filled with glowing veins, his eyes ignited with an unfamiliar energy. His scream, mixed with power and pain, swept through space, as if he were gaining something new from the shock of the attack.
This lasted only for seconds. Then Vegeta lost the transformation and collapsed, falling unconscious without Goku ever touching him. A terrifying silence engulfed the place. One of them gasped and said, "Fighting Goku, it seems to have worsened the catastrophe instead of resolving it. His actions don't suggest evil, but there's something hidden, a mystery we don't understand. And perhaps this curse has affected Vegeta as well." Suddenly, something no one expected happened. The earth began to crack. Veins appeared everywhere, mirroring the fissures that had spread across Goku's body moments earlier, stretching over the ground, the mountains, the roads. The sky changed, glowing with a grim color, a hue never before seen by human eyes. The air was charged with a strange tremor that made everyone shiver. And the greatest shock of all, it did not stop at planet Earth. Universe 7 itself began to feel the tremor. The curse started to spread slowly, leaving its mark in space, and even the stars seemed to be affected.
On a distant planet, the mysterious woman continued to watch, her expression foretelling nothing good. She sent an urgent warning: intervene immediately. The curse has begun to spread. Universe 6, the twin, will not be safe. In space, Whis finally appeared alongside Beerus, both realizing that what had happened was not merely a personal conflict, but a comprehensive threat to all existence. Whis suddenly stopped, his eyes widening in a way rarely seen. He looked directly at Goku's forehead, then froze. The orb that had been there no longer bore a single star. 4 stars were now slowly glowing. Whis whispered to himself in shock. This is impossible. When it first appeared, there was only 1 star. How did it evolve like this? And without a ritual? Without a key? As for Beerus, his fist trembled with a fear he had never admitted before. That vision, that dream, it wasn't just a nightmare. What I saw there, I cannot forget it. Suddenly, Goku broke the silence with a calm yet piercing voice. So you too. You came with blind eyes, unable to see the truth. You didn't see what happened to my granddaughter? You didn't understand what my goal truly was. I wanted to correct just one thing, but all of you stand against me. Do you know how to confront problems at their roots, or do you merely watch destruction unfold? Whis, tense, replied as he tried to calm the situation. We haven't seen you in a long time, since you retired and devoted yourself to training with your granddaughter. But we cannot allow this existence to collapse. Goku raised his voice slightly. You came searching for the truth. But what I am doing is to protect those I love. My heart is pure and my mind is clear, and if the entire world is at stake, I will bear it everything myself. Beerus spoke, his voice firm and imposing. Enough. What I saw cannot be ignored. You and your planet, this curse must stop now. Whis hesitated. He had not wanted to reveal the truth in front of Goku, but time would not wait. Suddenly, Beerus lunged forward, delivering a powerful strike towards Goku. Goku calmly raised his hand and blocked the blow with a single fist. The sound of shattering bone rang like thunder, shaking everyone. He had broken Beerus's arm. Beerus screamed at the top of his voice, heard across all of space. Everyone was stunned. Then Goku exhaled softly, his voice steady. Go back to where you came from. You are not my target. And if there is a flaw in this existence, I will fix it myself, even if I must destroy myself for the sake of others.
The friends fell silent, stunned. They now understood Goku's heart was not consumed by rage, nor had the curse taken him. It was clear, pure, aware. The problem was not Goku, but the accumulation of mishandled small matters until they exploded into a catastrophe beyond all imagination. Time was on no one's side. In that moment, a heavy presence pierced space. Vados. There was no trace of her usual calm in her eyes. The anxiety was clear, rare, and dangerous. She stepped forward and said, "The order has been given. Waiting is no longer permitted. The anchor point has gone out of control." She did not say destruction, but everyone understood. Goku did not move. He did not ask. His gaze alone was enough to realize that their presence here was no coincidence and that the matter no longer concerned him alone. The friends exchanged confused looks. They understood nothing, yet the danger was clearer than any explanation. The cracks continued to spread, as if the universe itself had become a vessel for the curse. Whis took a deep breath, then shouted, "All right, it's time for execution. Vados, take over." At that same moment, he vanished. He appeared directly behind Goku, a pressure that was not merely physical, but cosmic. Whis shouted, for the first time in a tone that had lost its neutrality, "Now!" Vados raised her hands. In that instant, the explanation became clear. Planet Earth was no longer just a home. It had become an active core of the curse, and if left as it was, it would not collapse alone. It would drag Universe 6 and the rest with it. This was not punishment, it was a final containment. Goku screamed, finally understanding what he had not wanted to understand. But the decision had already been made. The planet began to collapse from within, as if reality itself were being erased. Whis resisted Goku with everything he had, while Goku's scream pierced space. Then, silence. Earth was gone. No debris, no trace, only emptiness. Whis stood beside Vados, concern covering his face for the first time. Beerus stood behind them, holding his broken arm, silent, stunned. As for Goku, he clenched his fists, his body trembling. He screamed, not as a warrior, but as someone who had lost everything.
Why? Why did you do this?
Whis stepped forward, trying to calm him.
Because if we hadn't, everyone you love would have been lost. The curse wasn't within you alone, Goku. It was spreading through the Earth itself. The planet had become a focal point, and every second of delay meant it would spread to the entirety of Universe 7. Goku clenched his fists, his breathing uneven. So, you chose the fastest solution? Vados intervened, her voice like fear. I carried out the order willingly, by decision of the higher authority. We saw possibilities that were not shown to you. Had the connection continued, there would have been nothing left to protect. Goku replied with anger, screaming, "Seeing the end doesn't mean you understood the beginning. Problems aren't solved by cutting the roots entirely, but by understanding why they grew in the first place. Perhaps you stopped the spread, but you created a deeper wound, and every wound buried by force returns, far more savage." His words struck them like a thunderbolt. They tried to justify themselves, but Goku did not hear. He no longer did. His anger exploded, not as power, but as loss. He let out a scream that shook the void itself. A tremor swept across the universes, felt by the rulers, the watchers, and all higher entities. In a distant place, in the royal palace, a disturbance was felt by the guards. But Zeno was asleep. He felt nothing, and if he were to awaken now, this existence would not be ready for what would follow. The screaming continued, the entire space quaking under a terrifying force pouring out of Goku. On that distant planet, the strange woman finally opened her eyes. Before her, there was no emptiness, but an entire gathering. Everyone who had been on planet Earth, friends, families, children, warriors, all of them were here. The shock was collective. Eyes searched for a familiar sky, for a land that no longer existed. A single question echoed without sound. Where are we, and where is our planet? The woman did not turn toward them. She spoke in a cold tone that knew no hesitation. Planet Earth has been destroyed. The spread of the infection stopped here, but the root still remains. If it is not cut now, the spread will begin again. Everyone was shocked. Silence spread for seconds, then a voice exploded. Where is Vegeta? The question burst out in panic, like a lost scream in the void. Their eyes moved quickly, searching and finding nothing. One of them said in a hesitant voice, "I can't feel his energy. It's as if it completely vanished." Here, Trunks clenched his fist tightly, his voice breaking despite his attempt to hold himself together. "No, that's impossible. My father doesn't fall like that. Where is he? Did he die?" No one answered him. The silence was harsher than any answer, and in a distant corner far from the noise, the granddaughter stood alone. She raised her head toward a sky unlike Earth's sky, its colors strange, without familiar stars. She remembered her grandfather's face, his voice, his silent promise. She never wanted harm. She had been crying since she was humiliated, since the moment everything began to break. She whispered within herself, "Grandpa, you won't fall. I know you. You'll endure, and you'll defeat the curse." At that moment, space ripped open. Goku appeared. Behind him, without a call, without Dragon Balls, without a ritual, Shenron, the legendary dragon, stood tall, silent, as if not summoned, but awakened. And the strangest thing, Goku was at its center, as if his very existence were the key. The stars that had formed on his forehead were neither decoration nor a curse, but a seal that had opened from within. 7 stars were now complete, something no one understood, not even Whis, not even Vados. The dread was not only fear of power, but fear of the unknown. They had accomplished what they came for. Earth was destroyed before it could drown the universes in the curse. But now, what were they to do with Goku? His calm was more dangerous than any scream. His gaze was not anger nor revenge, but something deeper. At that moment, the strange woman spoke. She did not address the crowd. Instead, she sent her voice directly to Whis and Vados. "Time is up. His very existence has become a danger. Goku must be killed now, and only then can we reorganize the balance." The voice arrived and was heard. Everyone froze, especially Goku's family. The friends' shock was not fear, but refusal. They had seen the truth now. The curse had not consumed him. His awareness was complete. His heart was still the same. Gohan stepped forward a single step, then Goten stood beside him. Gohan said in a steady voice, despite the trembling, "We will not allow that. If my father is the cause, then he is also the one who stopped the catastrophe by resisting the curse." Goten added without hesitation, "If you want to pass, then you'll have to go through us first." The woman did not answer. She did not need to. She knew what she had said, and she knew its price. And in a place even farther away, beyond the affected universes, in the palace, Zeno awoke. Not because of the tremors, not because of the screaming, but because something had touched the boundaries of his authority. He looked around, then said with terrifying calm, freezing the guards in the place, "Bring me Goku now."